Hello and welcome to the Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies and series, including SG-1, Atlantis Universe, and more. I'm Father Corey Stika. With me today are Lisa Jones and Victor Lambs. Howdy, Lisa.
Hey, Father Corey.
And howdy, Victor.
Howdy do, Father Corey.
Before we begin, I'd like to invite you to join our Discord server. We're having a lot of fun discussing Stargate and all the other shows that we talk about here at StarQuest. You can find your invite at sqpn.com/discord. And all are invited to join. Even if you're not a Patreon patron, although we would like you to become a Patreon patron, and I'll talk about that later. And if you want to support us another way, you can go to sqpn.com/merch and get your t-shirts, mugs, stickers, and much, much more, including our great mugs on a mug for the Secrets of Stargate. Today we are discussing 2010, the 16th episode from the 4th season of Stargate SG-1. But before we do that, now that I've teased this great episode that we're going to talk about, we do have some news about a possible Stargate revival not being possible anymore. So what'd you find, Victor?
Yeah, apparently Brad Wright, just as we're recording this in the first week of November, someone had asked him about we had talked before about the new Stargate pilot that he had written. He responded to a tweet on Twitter and basically said, yeah, MGM did hire him to write the pilot. He wrote it just before COVID hit, but the timing couldn't have been much worse. Obviously with COVID and now with Amazon acquiring MGM, it's likely that his pilot, he says, will gather dust. He says it could have been fun, but we still hold out hope here. And until we do get the Stargate revival, we're just going to keep reviewing the great episodes of the original series here.
Yes. It's too bad. I mean, it sounded like it was really interesting, and I wonder if there's some point where Brad could publish the script that he had written. Say, well, if this isn't going to be bought out, this isn't going to be used, then of course, I don't know how copyright works for all this because he was paid by MGM to create it. Mm-hmm. But, usually the writers usually have copyright on it. So he could someday publish it online, kind of like Joe Malazzi is doing. And I got it right. I think I got it right. We'll talk about that later. That'll be a feedback later. But like he's doing with some of the art, the concept art that was later used in SG-1, which is so awesome to see how things are same and see how things are different. So hopefully Brad can publish that someday and maybe be done. You'd mentioned earlier being done by like a YouTube artist, have some cartoonists do an animated version of it just to get it out there. It'd be cool to see.
So or even Big Finish. Big Finish has done Stargate in the past. Maybe they could, adopt it or something and run with it. Yeah. Who knows?
And they're fantastic. They do a really good job.
Absolutely.
And that might be kind of the backdoor, kind of as Big Finish was the backdoor for bringing Doctor Who back. It could be the backdoor for bringing Stargate back as well. MGM could say, hey, Amazon could say, hey, people are actually buying this from Amazon. We better, publish, get more money out of this. But anyways, with that being said, we do have a great episode to talk about. So 10 years after SG-1 made first contact with the alien race known as the Ashen, it seems that all the problems of the world have been solved. The Stargate is publicly known and is now located in a space terminal in Washington, D.C. Transporter pads are easily accessible to all. The Ashen have brought advanced technology, wiped out the gold, and brought peace to the world. And yes, Jack's pond still has no fish. However, the Ashen anti-aging medical technology is a dark side. It's a 200-year plan to wipe out humanity by eliminating human reproduction. Sam discovers this through her own infertility and gets the band back together to figure out how to fight back. Even Jack's reluctance to get involved is overcome, and SG-1 uses the Stargate to send a message to the SGC 10 years in the past, just before the mission to the Ashen homeworld, to prevent everything from happening. Well, I think it goes without saying that this is, one of the top 10 favorite episodes of Stargate fans. So I'm gonna ask you, Lisa, what do you think? Do you agree with them?
Yeah. This is definitely one of my favorites. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words now. All of a sudden, I kind of like the way it starts. That it's Sam Carter. It starts as a Sam Carter episode. Future. Mm-hmm. She's got a husband. Again, you're not quite sure what's going on, and then you find out. It's been 10 years. You've got aliens, finally there's some technologically advanced aliens willing to share their technology with the planet, and oops, might not be going the way we hoped it would.
Yeah.
What? That'd be too crazy to think about. It's, I don't know. I love it. I love the way they imagined where they would be in 10 years and how they all come back together to try to save the planet one more time.
How about you, Victor?
Yeah, as I was watching this, I've seen this one a number of times, and I know it's one of the top rated episodes. So as I'm watching this, I'm critically watching it to say, is it really that good? And yeah, it actually is really that good.
I'll hold my breath for you.
Brad Wright, before he took on the Stargate SG-1, he was doing Outer Limits, the revival of the science fiction anthology series that was kind of an answer to the Twilight Zone. And so this is very much like out of that Outer Limits mold. It's like, imagine a world that's 10 years in the future and everything is perfect, or is it? We have no enemies in space and everybody lives for a really long time and there's no disease and no poverty. So basically the Star Trek future, but the flip side of that, as it seems to be in the Star Trek future, is, sterilization and so there is this incredible dark side that fortunately we have a very strong team in SG-1 who's committed to reversing that. But even amidst all that, there's a lot of like really funny lines and really funny, comedic beats in this episode too. The whole like tour of the SGC is just very funny. Like when you watch it and when you watch it,
and we're walking.
And I even in the background, there's someone doing the Vulcan salute, in front of the Stargate and stuff. But no, it's very funny. It plays, it posits a very, it's very, intellectually engaging. It's like, oh, what would the team be doing 10 years from now? And, Jack has fallen out from the team because, his misgivings about the Ashen were, completely justified. So no, it's an excellent episode, firing on all cylinders, and I like it very much.
Yeah. I want to see, we'll talk about it later, but I want to see what part of the mission report Kinsey didn't read.
Yeah.
Because he read the part, made it sound, just glowing that Jack loved it. And then, of course, that's not the case. But yeah, I agree with both of you. This is one of those episodes that really holds together. It's one of those that it's well written. Interesting, we were talking about in the news about Brad Wright, trying to revitalize the series. And this is an episode written by him when he was really starting to get involved with the SG-1. Yeah, and it's such a just well written, well acted. The storyline is solid. The characters, of course, we know and love, and we're seeing how they've developed in the years since. And they really haven't changed that much. Now there is, of course, alternate timeline playing here. Janet Fraser was there. Of course, we know that in the real timeline, prime timeline of SG-1, she doesn't live this long. Spoilers for those who haven't seen that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, and of course, I can't remember when we're getting close, aren't we? Do you remember when?
Season 7.
Season 7. Okay.
Heroes is season 7. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we still got 3 more years before. Okay. So, yeah. And, no, at this time, they probably hadn't even thought of doing that plot line, so, so yeah, it's such a great episode, and I really enjoyed it. It was, it's one of those, you look forward to watching, you're flipping through, back when you actually, flip through with your DVR and, oh, SG-1's on. What it was? Oh, 2010. Oh yeah, I'm going to watch that,
Yeah.
Always.
And this is a 2-part episode, but the second part much later, next season.
Yeah, next season. Yep.
You get 2001. And kind of talk about that first. This is not a coincidence. This was actually taken off of Arthur C. Clarke's 2001 Space Odyssey and 2010, the follow-up book. So this was planned this way. And of course, it worked out that while this aired January 3rd, 2001, of course, the 2001 episode was written and produced in 2001. And I didn't see if that one actually came out in 2001 or not. But still, it worked out so well. But that was kind of part of the plan, because there are things here. Let's talk about what Carter was supposed to be doing, not trying to overthrow the Ashen, but she was actually working with them to ignite Jupiter, which of course is something that comes from 2001, 2010. That's actually a part of the plot, which I thought was pretty cool.
It's not just the sun is beeping.
The sun is,
Not just the sun is beeping.
One of the great lines from the episode.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
Daniel didn't have much to do besides give us great lines.
He got to wear some amazing glasses, though. He is looking very fine in this episode.
And an outfit, too. I mean, he had some pretty sharp outfits, too. He was looking pretty dapper.
I'm pretty surprised that Michael Shanks didn't just say, just dress me like this for like the rest of the series. Because,
See, and I like Carter's outfit.
Sexy specs all the way here.
No, this is Michael Shanks getting into the I'm too sexy for my clothes look. I'm too sexy for my sleeves look.
Tilk also looks very good in this too.
Yes.
Who does?
Tilk. Yeah, he doesn't have his emblem again. Like there's one of a handful of episodes. Yeah.
Yep, he doesn't have his emblem, and he's in the more traditional Chulak garb. And of course,
like
the staff weapons that are only for religious observance.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But.
No, I think in this episode, seeing Sam Carter out of her military garb and in regular stuff, it makes you realize how tall Amanda Tapping is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like she just, the jeans and the white with the jacket, the open cardigan. I'm not tall. I'm like Janet Fraser size. So watching her in this episode, I'm like, wow.
Well, and they do kind of like you're watching this like, wait a minute, this is 10 years in the future. Like, why aren't they all like in old like makeup or something? And then they say, oh, there's an anti-aging vaccine, which is like the central plot point because that's what sterilizes the human race.
Yep.
And but if you do look at like Amanda Tapping in 2010 when she was in Sanctuary, I think, and then she even did a few episodes of Supernatural. I mean, she's like still looks amazing, of course.
Oh yeah. No, she still looked, didn't look much older than obviously than this because there's only 10 years difference. So, I mean, and you figure if Sam Carter was supposed to be late 20s, early 30s during the SG-1 missions, basically, I'm kind of guessing.
Yeah. I always get depressed when I think about like what age like TV characters were supposed to be. It's like, you've seen that meme go around with like Cheers. Where it's like Cheers, and during Cheers, like Norm was supposed to be like 34.
Yeah.
Or something. And like everybody in Cheers is supposed to be like their early 30s.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's just depressing to think.
Yeah, well, Sam would have been at this time in 2000, she would have been 32. So 2010, she would have been 42. So I mean.
Yeah, not that.
Dang.
Yeah.
No, not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
So.
And now it's been 11 years. 12 years since that episode was supposed to air. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to think about.
It's kind of mind blowing.
You think about like they jumped forward in the future, and here we are now going, oh.
It's always awkward when a show or something does a time skip episode, and then you've skipped more than that amount of time past when that episode was supposed to take place.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that just speaks to the longevity of SG-1. In this episode, certainly.
Well, in this one, of course, you've got the it's alternate timeline. It's very clear it's alternate timeline, and that the alternate timeline was broken the second the note went through the gate. Right. At the end of the episode, that broke it. But yeah, it does kind of date it sometimes. I mean, think of Star Trek. Like by now, we've been through World War III and the con wars and all that stuff, and
exactly,
augment wars and all that. So I mean,
the eugenics wars and
eugenics wars. That's the word I was
World War III, and then
But you think about it,
things definitely changed there too. So
they did a good job because if you think about it, anything that they predicted would happen or wouldn't happen, it really is irrelevant to our life because they had the Ashen and then they changed the timeline. So they could kind of do whatever they wanted with it, which they kind of did. I mean, the team broke up. Kinsey is president. Blah.
Yeah.
They'll
kind of work towards that eventually anyways.
So the Ashen stopped 9/11.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Carter's
they didn't. They
married the perfect man, allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of a tool, like all of her.
We do see him again later. We do see him in the
he's the least
episode.
boring, right?
Well, I mean,
he had some passion there.
Yeah. So, but he's So the whole thing is like they find out that like the Ashen, and this is like the problem with the Ashen plan. This where they're set up to be kind of too powerful. Like they're like, oh yeah, they wiped out the Goa'uld, like just like that. They had, the Goa'uld have been a going concern for like the past 5,000, 10,000 years, but the Ashen just finally decided now to wipe them out. And then like the Jaffa are like, well, we're not going to really ally with the Tauri because there's no point. There's no more Goa'uld anymore. So, and then we learned that the Ashen is suddenly playing this long game to get access to Earth of, like we'll wipe out the humans over the course of 2,000 years. If they could wipe out the Goa'uld in 10 years, like why are they keeping the humans around? It's not like they're eating them or something, right? They just want their...
This isn't V.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just like make the vaccination just kill everybody, and then you can have the planet.
Not subtle. They want the planet.
Right?
Yeah, but they could get the planet by just like, gassing everyone, right? I mean, it's like they don't need to wait 200 years.
That'd be a different episode.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they're it's I think actually what makes him a good bad guy for this episode is, yeah, they've got the technology to basically, end world hunger and medical problems and all this other stuff. And oh, by the way, their weapons technology can completely eliminate the Goa'uld in no time at all. I mean, it even sounds like it wasn't 10 years. It was like 3 years, 4 years, it was really quick. And, I'll do the counter argument. Ashen saw the Goa'uld as a serious threat to them. And so they just got rid of them. They realized they could fool the humans. And then in 200 years, because if humans live for 200 years off this anti-aging technology, what are the Ashen holding back? What do they have that they could live for thousands of years?
Yeah.
And they would have this completely ready to go planet, no damage done to it, just kill off, let all the humans die off, and they just take over or gradually take over as the humans die off.
And maybe they're like keeping the humans around as pets. You kind of get that when Malone or Melon or whatever was kind of entertaining Carter, like, oh, you can have computer access, I guess. It was like you kind of get the feeling that they like having the
it's like their own Farmville or Webkins or like
oh, little Sam, I'll let you have your computer access. I can't hold anything back from you.
Yeah.
I did see some people arguing online that the Ashen didn't do it on purpose.
No,
that it was accidental. They just didn't understand human physiology in their vaccine.
But then they covered it up and didn't tell anyone. That's kind of even like worse. Rather than correcting, it's like, let's just here's a second vaccine that'll fix your infertility, problem because we can do that, right?
And they took control of the media and the news and science and everything. So nobody knew what was going on.
Exactly.
So this episode was 10 years early and should have been 2020. Oh, wait, cut that, Victor. Don't let that stay in there.
No, I mean, it's at this point, I think we realized that so much of dystopian literature from 1984 to Animal Farm to 2010 to
Brave New World,
all the other episodes like just were written as how-to manuals, right? Not warnings.
Exactly.
Right.
But no, but I mean, and then Tool Boyfriend, comes in at the end and says, oh my gosh, 90%, it was supposed to be like 1/3 of that. We were only supposed to sterilize 30% of the people, So it's not unintentional. I mean, it's very intentional because if they told the humans, oh yeah, as a result, we're going to sterilize 30% of their population without your consent. And they're like, Kinsey's probably like, I approve this message, and whatever. So
does it get me in power for the next century? I'll do it.
I did like the Kinsey fireside chat though. That was a very nice touch at the beginning. It's like, I'm going to read from the mission reports, and Jack says they can save our butts. That's down home. That's that Jack O'Neill, wisdom coming through. But seriously,
writing it down real quick.
Yeah.
But I wonder what he left off, what he didn't mention. Because, of course, then we find out later that Jack says, from the first moment we met these people, I'm saying, don't have anything to do with them. Stay away. I'm warning everybody. You could see him like he's going from literally desk to desk. He's pounding on Hammond's desk and he's going up to the Pentagon and pounding on desk there and going even to the White House if he could. He's like, don't trust these people. And of course, they didn't listen.
Well, it was serious because he split with the team over it.
Yeah.
Like not even that they kind of sided with him or could see his point of view. And No, I mean, the fact that they all haven't spoken or seen each other and we get the impression years is,
And
I mean, it was serious.
Yeah. And it wasn't just over the Ashen too, right? Because there's a line when Sam comes to visit him, he's like, "Oh, what does your new boyfriend think of this?" You know, so it wasn't just the Ashen; it was also Joe.
What is your ambassador husband? Yeah,
yep,
yeah. That
He's still
scene
jealous.
was nice.
He's still,
yeah,
yeah.
Because it was like a lot of underlying tension that they were getting out in that scene, but without saying it. So
yeah,
it was kind of like, oh, what happened in the last?
Well, I love when they're sitting there talking and he tells, you keep Sam out of this, and you can see Sam over there about ready to say, hold on a second.
Yeah.
This is my idea. I'm the one who came up with this, not him.
But it was.
Why are y'all talking without me? I can make the decisions myself.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it was kind of nice that both Jack and Joe, had common ground in, basically keeping Sam safe. So I thought that was a really nice, point of agreement where they could see eye to eye. It's like, no matter what happens, Sam has to be safe. So.
And then she just runs back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this episode. We learned General Hammond had a heart attack 6 years ago, or did he, Hammond kill himself with donuts? The implication is that Hammond was onto something, and the Ashen may have killed him to keep him quiet. And Frasier is just putting this together. So I mean, Frasier is like the hero of this episode. Just kind of
This is a great episode. This is a great episode for Frasier. I mean, you really get to see her kind of shine. And she has that kind of almost frustration that like all the medical technology that she's learned and everything that she's learned in medicine is kind of like, nope, don't need me anymore. They how she put it, they let me keep an office in Washington.
Nothing to do.
It's just kind of like, we'll keep you over here and, you just behave yourself and you'll be fine.
I kind of saw her like going Dr. McCoy in this episode. It's like, they got these computers now, Jim, and I don't understand what it means to be a doctor anymore. Same thing,
Exactly. And of course, she's the one who figures it out, because, old fashioned techniques and not lying.
Not lying goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the episode moves along pretty quick, and I think the highlight for me is definitely when they revisit the SGC, which is now a museum or a tour destination due to its pivotal role. So the SG-1 needs a GDO because if they're going to send this message back, obviously they need the iris open in 2000 so that they can send the message back, and the GDO they have is a replica. They find that out later, but They think the one is at the SGC, so they visit, and the way they get in is they take a tour, and we have a tour guide of the SGC who is just like the most perfect tour guide. And I wrote down the actress's name, Linnea
Johnson.
Yeah, only a handful of roles, but she is perfect as the tour guide in this.
She's hilarious.
Correcting Daniel.
They call it the embarkation room because they embarked from it.
That's where the SG teams embarked from. Yeah,
that's on level 28. The gate room. So as a kid, it's like, no, it's the embarkation room, which is totally like a Dantic fan. Yeah.
Well, it was even funnier because the kid says the gate room's like close, and Daniel even goes, I think it really was the gate room. No, they called it the embarkation room. And Sam and Daniel just look at each other like, we've never called it that.
And they did for just a couple of times in season 1. It was referred to as the embarkation room.
Oh, you're right. It was like just in the first episode.
Just the very beginning. Yeah.
And if you look online, they do refer to it as the embarkation room as well. So it was like one of those really nitpicky like fan things too,
And then this is the pictures of the arguably most favorite team or something. She goes, not my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Again, they kind of look at each other. Not her favorite?
Yeah, and apparently I didn't notice it, but there's a lot of old props from the series in that shot as well. So so there's some...
it's one of those to sit slow down. I always love that though when they take the promo shots, the press shots, and they make it a part of the series. So that's what that big poster was a promo shot of SG-1 and Hammond for publishing and and stuff, putting online and whatever. But they make this big poster board of it. It's like, what do we should have a picture of SG-1. What do you do? That one will work. Just bring it. Take it down to Kinko's.
That's right.
And then we meet Walter, who is Walter for the first time.
Because
Yep.
of a ad lib by Richard Dean Anderson. And
Yeah.
of course, it was Radar O'Reilly. Walter Radar O'Reilly from MASH is where he got it from.
Yeah, Walter is not a sergeant, and Jack O'Neill's not a colonel. Walter is a docent at the museum, and is kind of cool to see, the old gang there, but at the same time they're where they shouldn't be, and kind of his obligation as a museum docent kind of trumps his. But he kind of does lend him the DHD.
Actually, he says, he didn't say y'all because he wouldn't have said y'all, but he said, you aren't colonels anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a sergeant. You're not
plural.
a colonel. Yeah.
No, he said plural. So like
Oh, really?
Jack and Sam. hmm
Oh, nice.
He referred to both of them. So
I
she got a
didn't
little
catch that, yeah.
promotion before
The
she
actual
became
promotion,
Dr.
yeah.
Because Kinsey called her Dr. Carter, not by military rank.
Yeah.
They called her
Yep.
Dr. Daniel Jackson, Dr. Sam Carter.
No, that was
Yeah, which I don't know how that works when you're retired. Don't you always keep your rank or not?
no. I mean, I've met retirees who will, they'll make sure they retired as major or colonel or whatever. But it's not for those in the military. It's not inappropriate to call them by their ranks.
Okay.
But after you get out, it's like, frankly, once you get out, it doesn't matter what their rank is. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're a Kentucky colonel, right? And then you don't call them colonel.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, they have to have they can't just make it simple where they go in and and I love that where, Jack or Sam and Daniel think they're going to be all stealthy about it. And Jack's already there ahead of them and has
Yeah.
already picked up everything. It's just waiting for him up in the
After he
briefing
said he
room.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
he had to get a dog. Biggest decision in his life was whether or not to get a dog.
Yep.
Yeah. I realize that this is the first time we've had alternate universe time travel. I don't know time travel, but alternate universe at least that Sam and Jack have not been together.
Although obviously part of their
Yeah.
split is because they weren't.
Yeah.
Right. So I
He's,
thought it
he
was
was still
interesting. 'Cause-
pining for her even if she's moved on.
Right. He's still upset about it. That was good.
Yeah. But even though Joe is genocidal, he still is a pretty good guy, and he
Yeah.
agrees to get the GDO from the
Well,
president's office.
She really didn't give him a choice. I think she wears the
Yeah.
pants in that family. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
She wasn't
Oh, yeah.
wearing pants in that particular scene, but I don't
No.
think. But
That's true.
Not that any of us were looking.
no,
No.
But it would have been interesting to see that scene, but I'm glad they didn't have it where he did get the GDO off of the Oval Office desk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kinsey, yeah.
Because they even said it was on the Oval Office desk. It wasn't even
Right.
like in the Oval Office. It was on the desk, which I could see Kinsey doing that just because he's Kinsey and,
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Yeah.
like I won type of deal.
Have you noticed in this show how they treat the politicians? You can tell they don't
Mhm.
have much appreciation, for the
They're usually-
integrity of politicians.
They're usually pretty slimy.
Yeah.
yeah, except for like President Hayes. Hayes is it like who's in a couple episodes?
Mhm.
Yeah, played by I forget the actor's name, but he's a very classic character actor.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Henry Hayes, yeah,
But most of them here, it's pretty. You got the whole Kinsey thing going on, and even Ambassador Joe.
yeah,
Mhm.
I know ambassadors are not politicians; he's a diplomat, but it's that same kind of thing. Like he agreed to something, lacked the integrity. They agreed to it to get the job done versus what was.
Yep.
I guess you could argue best interest because they got rid of the Gould, but they agreed to sterilize a good percentage of
Yeah.
the population without anyone knowing. So
and
not
and the line there is the Ashen didn't think we were worth investing in
yeah.
because there were too many of us, right? So if we're going to help you
Yeah.
fight the Gold, there just needs to be less of you guys, which is kind of
Mhm.
what you see with, when Western, NGOs and other things tend to like look at Africa. It's like, well, we'll invest in your infrastructure and stuff, but there's way too many of you guys over there in Africa.
Yeah.
We're going to have to
Mhm.
take care of that before we, give you roads and clean water and stuff. So it is like very prescient and very, knowledgeable about, how things work in the world and stuff and
Mhm.
how
And
distasteful
for
that
a
is.
sh- for a show that is not in your face about trying to mirror what happens, like Battlestar Galactica or something.
or even
do.
MacGyver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
And
do
his
have
political
little,
message episodes.
they have little subtleties they kind of put in there for
Yeah.
you to pick apart. So I like that about this one. Oh, okay. Great shot during their dinner with the golden sky behind them. They're
Oh, yeah.
sitting in front of that window. I just love
yeah.
that. The golden hour, you know.
Yeah.
Love that, that
There's
shot.
actually
of
a lot
them.
of pretty good cinematography in this one. I mean, some really nice views and everything. They did a really good job with that.
Yeah, much of it was filmed at the Plaza of Nations, which was left over from the Vancouver, World Expo '86, I believe.
Yep.
And
It
we need
doesn't
to have
exist
more.
anymore.
Yeah, we need to have more World Expos because they gave us some really cool locations for shooting our favorite sci-fi shows. And there's the New York Expo. I forget when, '67 or whenever that was, and they gave us
That's
a
where
lot
Men
of
in
really-
Black was filmed.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yep. So it's yeah.
And
More
did y'all
expos,
remember
please.
the last time we had an episode that was filmed there?
It was the Bug episode, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bane.
Yeah. First of a few Bug episodes we get. But so for all their talk of non-aggression and pacifism, the Ashen apparently have armed the gate room.
Oh, yeah.
Several dozen turrets of some sort, which it seems like overkill to me. Like you wouldn't need that many turrets, just to protect, because Daniel and Teal'c are blasting these turrets as the big climax happens, and they're all trying to get up they're all trying to take the hill basically and get the note through the gate. And these things are shooting either energy bolts or very small bullets. It's not clear because sometimes they leave.
No, they were behind domes, so it was like an energy bolt. It wasn't a projectile.
Yeah, but it looks like when they hit him, it looks like you're being hit by a BB or a pellet gun or something.
Just burned his skin off.
It burned in, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And then there's a lot of them, and it seems like too many. And then Teal'c comes through with his friend who he isn't even in the credits, and he doesn't get a name, but
yeah,
he gets blasted too.
But the
And
friend goes really fast.
Yeah, the friend's
It was inconsistent.
Teal'c's like, hey, you want to go to Earth with me and maybe it killed? And the other one's like, it is a good day to die. Let's go through, and stuff.
Yep.
So
I die free.
yeah,
Well,
I
you
die
know,
free.
I-
That's what they say. Yeah.
I mean, I will say that the number of them isn't surprising, because if you think of Gwald or something marching through to attack, you need as many. I mean, look at how many firearms come out whenever someone comes through the gate unannounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think the Ashen would be well, we're going to protect your thing with an invisible force screen. It seemed like the guns were there to protect people from taking control of the gate rather than coming through the
Oh,
gate.
what?
But
Yeah.
yeah, and so it just. But yeah, it's a very powerful. It's like Mozart's Requiem should have been playing in the background. It's like dee, da, 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 as everybody's dying in slow motion and being, and everybody dies.
And of course, it was in slow mo. They're
Yeah.
reaching through.
Yeah,
And you get
I was
that
just saying, so-
last toss through.
yeah.
Teal'c got hit 250 times.
She did. He was
Right.
Yeah.
His friend, who also allegedly has a symbiote, got hit twice and died.
yeah.
Daniel Jackson gets hit. Poor Daniel. Okay. He gets hit again
It's everybody's
4
getting hit. I'm going to get hit
times.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even does he even take a step? I mean, it's
Yeah.
and then
Well,
Jack
he tries
gets
to go up
hit
the side of it and
200.
slides.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then Jack's hit 200 times and he gets up
Yeah.
and then he's, and then Carter just runs in, grabs it, and
Yeah.
she goes quickly too. It's
Last step, she throws it.
yeah.
She gets the 3-pointer shot. But I like Jack stunning Mullen through the bag.
Yeah.
The Zat gun in the bag and stuns him through the bag.
Well, and his total Han Solo, just talking when he's talking to Mollum there, and he's it's oh, hey, Melon. He's like, Mollum. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, the war, right? He's just completely just blowing him off. And it's yeah, I'm expecting my friend Teal'c, I bought him a hat. He's just making this stuff up just to, doesn't matter
remember
because he knows
Teal'c?
he's going to die. He knows Mollum's going to get shot. So it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
And of course, got Teal'c in the hat. They gotta have the hat,
Yep.
even if he doesn't wear it.
Yeah, exactly. And did y'all notice how they changed how they pronounced Ashen and Ashen?
Mm-hmm.
So in the scene with Carter and Jack says it one way, and then they've looped the audio on Carter to say it a different way. And so her mouth doesn't match what she's saying. And so the rest of the episode, they call it the Ashen.
Okay.
And the Jack scenes, it's Ashen.
Yeah.
But Carter's looped to say Ashen. So it's
So they
like,
must have decided to just correct it.
Yeah,
and-
maybe they filmed the Jack scene first or something. And then or the other scenes, because it was very clearly Ashen, like in the early scenes and stuff, even though looking at it, you'd say like Aachen or something.
yeah, that always drove me crazy with this episode. That one scene, because I love that scene, obviously. And then to have her audio be off just drives me crazy.
Well, that's, I mean, we're good at mispronouncing, so why not them?
Yeah.
And of course, that's
Yeah,
been
but
a
the fact
part
that they
of
went and tried to
Stargate,
fix
because you
it.
got gold,
Yeah. Go old.
Yeah.
We'll have to pay attention in 2001 if Jack says it differently than everyone else again.
Yeah. See if
If
they
they
fix
keep it
that or
going.
not.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Another very good scene of this is when the note comes through and Jack goes up to pick it up and it's just him and he's framed by the still active gate and stuff. And it's just him like standing there. And then like he like bends down and picks it up. And that was a very nice,
Well, he bends down, picks up, he looks at it, and he just kind of, well, what does it say?
Mhm.
Here, you read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was,
And then Carter, of course, pops up with, when did you send it?
Yeah, exactly. And Jack just kind of rolls his eyes like, I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I do like,
complicated.
I do like how Frasier says, I'll analyze the blood. And we don't have a scene in like, the lab where she's like, yes, verifiably, this is all of your blood is on this note. Like we don't see that. It's like we assume that like, yeah, she'll check it out, but we already know it's authentic. So we don't need to see that part.
Right. Well, and Hammond's already said, lock out that address.
Yeah.
Like
Decisive
did
Hammond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Did y'all notice that Carter did not have any qualms this time about changing the timeline? Like in 1969, she was like, don't. We can't do anything. We can't say anything. And this one, she's all like, nope, we don't need to exist anymore. Let's change everything.
I would say that she realized that, unlike 1969, the timeline had gone naturally and it was a mistake. So we've got a chance to reboot it. So let's reboot it. So it's kind of a different situation.
I guess she was done with her
already
marriage.
blown up a planet at this point. So she's like, I'm become death, destroyer of worlds. And she's a little more cavalier about broad destructive changes.
She kind of was forced to just blow up the planet, but yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. She was done with the marriage. She needs a reset.
Yeah.
I mean, he did agree to sterilize a third of the population.
Yeah.
So at one point, Jack says, can we write down who won the 2004 World Series, Super Bowl, and the Grey Cup? And of course, Dom wanted to make sure we mentioned Dom Bettinelli, CEO of StarQuest, SQPN, wanted to make sure that we mentioned that in 2004, the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl and the Boston Red Sox won the World Series.
And
Gee,
why?
I wonder why he's from Boston. He wanted that being done. I will say, though, if you're not familiar with the Grey Cup, that is a Canadian thing. It is the Canadian Football League equivalent of the Super Bowl. And that was run by Toronto that year. So for those who might come from the East, so basically all of that was won by the New England states and in Ontario. That little region there won all three of those tournaments. So yeah, so we should mention that. Now, here's a question. Are there alternate titles for this episode?
I couldn't find any, so I assume that they're all just 2010. Yeah.
Which
I
figured
didn't
they would
see
be.
any
Just
either.
2010 in the different languages.
Do you want to pronounce 2010 in different languages?
No, I don't.
Because that could be fun.
Yeah. We'll save that for next week, which I think we'll get some good ones off that.
Oh, yeah. So is there anything else either of you would like to finish up with?
No, I
I'm
just
Oh, good.
I say Amanda Tapping looked beautiful in this episode. No, she looked absolutely stunning to me. I don't know what it was. Maybe maybe pretending to age looked really good on her. But
yeah, it's really good, dystopian future sci-fi in a, world with characters we like and lots of really good humor and character moments. And so it's one of those, lightning in a bottle moments for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I absolutely agree. It was fantastic. So we do have a little bit of feedback, and this feedback is again from Susan Gardner 19 on Twitter. She's the one who critiqued our pronunciation of Lou Malzahti. Mine, Malzahti. Malazzi. My pronunciation of Lou Malazzi. And of course, now I'm getting self-conscious of it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I want to thank all of you for your gracious response to my tweet you read about the pronunciation of Lou Malazzi's name. Given his writing credits and eventual executive producer status, there will be much opportunity to mispronounce or pronounce his name on future podcasts. That is true, and we don't intend to mess it up, but we appreciate that you took it in the same good humor that we presented it. So we'd like to take a moment at this time to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create Secrets of Stargate, including Anusha M., Nate F., David V., Martel B., and Felix L. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows here at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or other great podcast apps. Not the not so great ones, but the great podcast apps. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia. If you're enjoying the Secrets of Stargate, share us with your friends. Share us with your enemies. Share us with your frenemies. Share us with everyone you know. Share us so we can grow our audience here at Secrets of Stargate. And to find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. Our email for feedback is stargate@sqpn.com. You can follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. We'll be back next time when we'll be discussing Absolute Power, the next episode of SG-1. Until then, Lisa Jones, thank you for joining me in sharing the Secrets of Stargate.
Thanks, Father Cory.
And Victor Lambs, thank you as well.
Thanks, Father Cory, and I'll bring everything back. I promise. Thursday.
Yeah. As we're recording on a Thursday.
Yeah. Next Thursday.
Yeah. And once again, I'm Father Cory Sticha. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?